Good afternoon. My name is DeQuez Fryer, and I'm a student here at LaGrange College, and I'm currently in Dr. Therez's foreign policy class. I'm doing a research project titled, Whose Land Is It Anyways? I first will start off by saying, more and more of the unique animals that we know and love have been extinct. We have lost animals like the northern white rhinoceros and the splendid poison frog and the Sphinx macaw, to name a few. A new animal that is on the verge of extinction is the emperor penguin. The emperor penguin is a large type of penguin species, and they are located in Antarctica. They live in one of the most severe environments on Earth. They have adapted and learned how to survive in the environment. They rely heavily on the sea ice and finding food, raising young, and for protection. A decline on the Antarctic sea ice and climate change is leading to the bird's extinction. So the emperor penguin is a familiar bird. A lot of people they gained recognition when the movie Happy Feet came out, because that was the penguin that was in the movie, and the movie is based on the penguins habitat being taken from them by the humans. And as the movie goes along, the penguins will like show the humans that they need their area to live, and the humans will leave it alone and give them the things they need. The emperor penguin is the largest type of penguin species, and they are located in Antarctica. They live in one of the most severe environments on Earth. They have adapted to learn how to survive in their environment. They rely heavily on the sea ice for finding food, raising young, and for protection. They decline of the Antarctic climate change leading to the bird's extinction. Sorry, I said that. The emperor penguins are a very popular bird. It's interesting to find out they are not under Endangered Species Act. Learning from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service's website, the Endangered Species Act of 1973 is a key legislation for both domestic and international conservation. The act aims to provide a framework to conserve and protect endangered species and their habitats. The act was signed by President Richard Nixon on December 28, 1973. I would also learn that the act serves as a method to meet many of the United States' international responsibilities to treaties and conventions, such as Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora and Western Hemisphere's Convention. So what the Endangered Species Act does is it just protects animals that are on the verge of going extinct and not being here no more, and gives the animal a chance to repopulate and get their numbers back up. Research from the site Biological Diversity Org stated that following a petition and lawsuit from the Center of Biological Diversity, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Services today proposed the emperor penguin for protection under Endangered Species Act. After learning the material, I would come up with my theory, which is my general answer to the problem: can United States law be extended past U.S. borders? My independent variable, the factor that I am arguing causes something to happen, is the type of law, either U.S. law or international law. My dependent variable, what is caused, depends on the independent variable. Can it be applied? My hypothesis is a statement which takes all the possible values of the dependent variable. The Endangered Species Act only works in the U.S. territory. To test my hypothesis, I would look to see if the United States has used U.S. law in other cases in foreign settings. I would find that the U.S. listed the African elephant as a protected endangered species under Endangered Species Act of 1973. The Convention of International Trade in Endangered Species, Wild Fauna, and Flora, established in 1975 to ensure the survival of the wildlife being internationally traded for their homeland in the U.S. to other foreign territories. The U.S. sites implement report of 2013 to 2015 states recently published a proposed rule to revise the African elephant 4D rule, the more strictly control the U.S. make for elephant ivory. Also, the Bengal tiger is protected under the act. There was an agreement among 175 nations to ensure international trade does not threaten their survival. So what this is saying is like all the nations have come together and they've like all made an agreement that they won't hunt or trade the animals to stop them from going extinct. I then will search to see if the United States has ever tried to protect the penguins in the past before wanting to now. I will find that the U.S. did, and it just was not to the extent it is now. This plan would be in 2001, and the site states the Department of State works with other nations to protect Antarctic penguins through the Protocol of the Environment Protections to the Antarctic Treaty. The U.S. just added more laws and regulations and made their plans and procedures better to protect the penguins. I then would search to see if the George W. Bush administration agreed with the Endangered Species Act. I found that the Bush administration agreed with the overall plan of the Endangered Species Act, however, wanted to focus on the portion of the act that would make the documents more cohesive. The critical habitat portion of the ESA encompasses the land and water necessary for the recovery of the endangered species to be drawn out and protected. The Bush administration deemed that the section to be redundant to other sections of the Endangered Species Act and chose to hold a press conference to discuss recommendations for corrections for the section. Then I would search to see if Obama administrations agreed with the Endangered Species Act. According to the source, the Obama administration weakened the power of the Endangered Species Act, making land designated critical habitat open to destructive activities like mining, logging. The aim of Endangered Species Act under the Obama administration is to decrease the protections of land marked as critical habitat as long as these activities aren't determined to impact the entirety of the species designated critical habitat. However, these regulations are flawed because they do nothing to ensure that many projects combined do not drive species to extinction from death by 1,000 cuts. The Endangered Species Act works more than just in U.S. territories, and the Act helps protect wildlife all over the world, making the hypothesis incorrect. The Endangered Species Act protects wildlife from Antarctica to Africa. Anywhere else there is endangered species. Many presidential administrations have made changes to the act they thought would make the act better, but in turn created weak points in the legislation. That is a good idea. It does more good than bad and has saved a lot of animals' lives and helped the ecosystem. By saving the animals, we protect the part they play in the environment. And this is my works cited page, and this is my presentation. Once again, this is a Quest Friday, and I hope you enjoy it. Have a blessed day.